Come on, South. Come on, Kefla.
Clickety clack, don't talk back.
Yeah.
Take 1836.
No,
Republic Boot Company.
Mark's going to do it.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Rowdy Loafers. Wow, woo!
Woo! Yeah.
Good times talking about some Texas history, representing great businesses like Rev Butter we're going to be talking to today.
Right here.
And just good Texas talk, right? So I got my good buddy, Coach now. Coach's over here in the Suit Steve's chair.
Stepping in.
Fireball Bill and Rev Butter.
Rev Butter.
We're talking
Good to
about
see you again,
some
Mr.
fantastic ice sculpture. So we like to represent different kinds of businesses and do some, interesting things.
That's right. And then have fireball shots.
And then fireball shots.
All right, there we go.
They've been going really good, so
Yep.
coming right back at y'all.
Salud.
Hey guys, we're back. We're talking about ice sculptures, but the coolest kind you can imagine, right? Because we have the world champion. I'm going to say it.
Yes.
I'm going to believe it. I'm going to believe it.
Here on the stage, Reverend Butter. And we'll go into all the details. But first of all, what are you wearing? What is this? He's got a bulletproof red
John Wayne bib
vest.
shirt.
Looks like a
The
chef.
bib shirt.
But
Are you?
I'm
Are
not-
you a? What's
I
going
am a
on?
chef.
Let's get inside here.
That's blood, not crib.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's
Come
cool.
on in.
I'm just okay.
Does
So
these
we got to
come
mess
off?
with
Does it, like,
Fireball
rip off
Bill
and
here.
show
We have a
your
good
chest
time.
hair?
It's like
like,
Kristen Wiig said in Bridesmaids.
Anything could happen.
It's
You
like
just
Kristen
wait
Wiig
on
said in
that.
Bridesmaids. I see an old colonial man out on the wing.
Okay.
What are you talking about? I'm okay.
Help me, I'm poor.
Oh my God, it's getting weird. We like to
I'm
represent.
not a whore. What'd you
That's
say?
been-
We like to represent
It's been
Texas
weird.
companies. We're going to be talking about some Texas history. We're going to be talking about some boot making. We got the boot of the week. But we like to represent good friends of ours like Reverend Butter. Dude, we've done it for a long
Rolando
time.
de la Gazara. How do you say your name?
God.
Gazara. I don't know how you
Sounds
say it.
racist.
You totally butchered it. You fucked it up.
I know. Come on.
Rolando de la Garza. If you're going to roll that R,
Reverend,
de la Garza.
Reverend, I gotta ask.
Please
The
ask,
only way
man.
I can get him to say it.
Because I'm begging to answer, Coach. Talk to me.
I gotta ask.
Come on, Coach.
Every time I hear your name, I think South Park, man.
Of Butters.
Butters.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
Yeah.
you know what's funny is I get a lot of people who call me Butters, and I swear to God, they pay double of what I charge normal
Hey,
customers.
by
I
the
do.
way,
They do. They do.
Hold on,
Really?
Butters.
Yeah,
Butters.
you just fucking pay.
I know. I just paid double. Oh my God.
Price just went up.
This man wields a chainsaw when he does his work, so do not
So-
mess with him or
No.
call him Butters. Go
There's one of me singular, but in so man,
I
I've
didn't
been
mean
doing
to
that.
offend.
No, you haven't. I've been doing this 25 years, but about a good 20 years ago, people were like, "Hey, Butters," I'm like, man. And I would get in this argument like, no, there's only one of me, man. I'm not South Park. It's what Reverend Butter, whatever. But people are like, oh, I just can't stop calling you Butters.
Embrace it.
I embraced it. My Zen self said, "You're just going to pay more to call me that,
And then you go-
and you will. No, and you shall, and they do.
What is your motto? Fuck you, pay me?
Fuck you, pay me.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Love it.
There it is.
Well, the thing is, what I do is I'm very well aware that you don't need what I have, but you want it. So I'm very
It's a
humble and
masterpiece.
grateful. Well, it's frozen water. It's gone by the end of the night. Yet you still have to pay for it.
I kind of think back to the Renaissance
Well-
where we had these beautiful statues and stuff. Okay, you have it out of Carrara marble and all this kind of stuff.
Well,
but yours is even more precious.
the thing
because
is-
it's
Well, and
there.
you said-
That'll last longer. That'll last longer.
I was gonna say
I know.
he says end of the night. We've had sculptures here that last 3 days.
That's why I'm saying it's
and
so
they're sitting in the
precious.
front. We put them in the front of the shop, and
Oh,
they
here's
just sit there.
and here's a funny story: is that Bill forgets about it, maybe I forgot about it, and then it melts and it floods the store out.
We left it in the store, and it over.
Yeah.
We came in the next morning. We're like ankle deep in water. It's like,
So
Yeah.
Reverend,
hear that story.
why,
Not
how
his
is it?
fault.
How is it that the sculpture can maintain its shape for so long? Because it feels like
I was drunk.
in the Texas. I know, right? Fireball was drunk.
Yeah.
Story of all our lives.
when I came in the next morning.
But
Sorry.
but in the Texas heat and the humidity, how do they stay? How do they keep? Because those things have such great angles, and I've seen your work. It's immaculate. It's immaculate, super crisp. It's immaculate.
angle.
So-
We make our own ice. So the most important thing with these ice blocks is they're very dense. They're crystal clear because they have no air bubbles whatsoever in them. We make our own ice.
How do you do that? Can you talk about
well,
that?
it takes about Well, it takes about 3 days to make 1 block of ice. This summer, 5 days because of this 100+ degree
How
heat.
big? Sorry to interrupt you.
These
How
blocks
big? How
aren't
big
like
is
a
the block?
of ice.
So it's one big.
I mean,
It's one big ice cube tray, and one
So I'm
block
talking
takes
about like
it takes 30 gallons of water to make 1 block. It is
Think about that. That's a lot.
260 pounds. It's 20 inches wide, 40 inches long, and about a foot deep.
Okay.
And in this slow freezing process, the water is always circulating. That's what makes it dense, solid. When you see an ice cube that's white, those are all air bubbles. It's very porous. So you put that in your drink.
It don't taste very
Look,
good.
no. Look at this. Look at this. Look, this is what they're serving me here.
I know.
You see that white ice cube?
Yeah.
I'm not putting you on blast, but I'm putting you on blast.
That's racist.
This is all air bubbles. You see the clear on the side, it started slowly freezing, and then it caught up with the air bubbles. It makes my whiskey taste like shit, but I will drink it because it's free. Coach, I'm going to tell you that.
If you
I might
had the
drink-
choice,
No, you just brought
you
up a
could have
good
got the
point.
block of ice I had in there, and you chose not
Do
to
you have a
that.
block of ice in there? That's clear? Crystal clear? Is it from DLG Ice Factory? Because I thought
DLG
that's what we were
Ice
promoting
Factory.
right here.
That's-
So let me tell you right now.
Butter, you brought up a good point because that white ice.
Never mind.
I have noticed it tastes like crap.
Well,
It doesn't taste very
and it
good.
doesn't. Well, it waters your drink down.
So that's what it is.
Look,
So,
when
yeah,
y'all
it
come
dilutes
here,
it.
Our
Very
ice does
interesting.
not taste like crap, no matter what they say. Our ice is really good here.
No.
Not
It's good.
Rev
It's
Butter
good. It
yet.
doesn't taste bad. The thing is, it dilutes your drink, so it makes it a little weaker. Whereas the ice we make is solid. It's dense. It does melt. It takes longer to melt because there's no air bubbles in it. It does have to melt though, Coach, because if it doesn't, you wouldn't call me back for another sculpture, right?
That's right.
So that's
Hey,
part of
Reverend,
what keeps
I've-
us in
I've
business.
I've seen you actually kind of weld pieces together.
Yes.
with ice. How does that work? How do you weld?
Yeah, we did see that.
Yeah,
yes.
it's kind of these different. Because
So,
you got to make a big.
it-
you make walls for like
The science
hobby
behind it
and
is
awesome
every
stuff.
piece has to be below freezing. And when I say below freezing, it has
inside
to be
your factory.
well, it has to be cold enough to where it's not wet and melty. So it has to be frosty white. We use the power of water as glue. So water will seam those pieces together, just like tile. You gotta make a slight abrasion on both pieces. Add water, boom, they fuse together as one solid piece. That's how we transport big sculptures around the city. Is we build them tall at our or at our shop. We build 20-foot sculptures. Then we break them down to transport it, and then like Legos, we piece them back together on
Oh,
site.
so you piece them together back
Yeah,
inside.
yeah,
Okay,
you piece them together on site because it's hard to transport
That
one
makes
big
sense
block.
because like when you reach into the ice box and your hand's wet and you try to get it seriously,
Yeah.
you
And it
get
sticks to your
it
hand.
sticks to your
Yeah,
finger.
so that's exactly what we do.
we're seeing. Okay,
Correct.
wow, super interesting.
Now, if the ice is already melty, and you try to put water and piece them, they're just going to fall apart.
Correct.
So it's the whole science behind it of how to piece them together.
Well, that's smarter than I am. Like, the science
No,
hurts my head. So
No,
We've done a number of different events, right? So we did the Ferrari one, which is cool. We did 2 different events, right? So we had the what's it called, the Cavallino.
Oh
horse
yeah,
one.
the Ferrari horse, the Cavallina.
I think we did another one was a
Badass.
shop
Yeah,
block.
well, yeah, and we represent here. I mean, this
We
is
did the armadillo.
But
this
it's gotta
is
be high class.
Republic Boots is a representation of Texas. I love that. That's one of my favorite things because
Tell us about your history,
I'm
too.
born.
I mean, yeah,
Look, I'm
your
born and
history.
raised in Houston, Texas. First generation American,
Yeah.
first generation Texan.
Well-
My family is from Mexico.
Yeah.
I am because of that. I have dual citizenship. So I'm also a citizen of Mexico. I'm a citizen of the U.S. Very proud of both. But man, I'll tell you, I am a fucking proud Texan.
Yeah.
I represent
So you
this state. This is a whole other thing. I represent this state to the fullest because
It's a
when I
country.
meet people and they see Reverend Butter and they talk to me and they don't know Reverendo Mantequilla, que yo hablo español, I speak fluent Spanish because that's how I was brought up. They're like, wow, you're Mexican. You don't look like a Mexican.
You're a
Well,
Texican.
what does a Mexican look like? That my question to you is, what does a Mexican look like?
Me.
Right.
Because
Yeah, you're Mexican.
yeah,
Mexican.
but,
Hey,
but what does it look like? What is your? So I love breaking that mold of like, no, man, I'm a human fucking being. I am part of you.
Good for
I
you.
am who you are,
Good for you.
and I happen to represent where I'm from. This is me.
That's right.
I just have a little extra, and nothing wrong with that.
So Reverend, with you're talking about representation, and we can definitely get into Texas history right here with what you're talking about. It you kind of got the best of the two worlds of Texas independence. As you were raised with Texas roots.
Yeah.
Your family was raised with Mexican roots.
Yes.
So speak a little bit about like you're growing up and you're learning about the history of Texas, from both sides, from both the Mexican side and from the Texas side.
Great question.
Well, no. So I was raised. My parents didn't speak English. Now later in life, they became U.S. citizens. They did it, the right way. They immigrated here. They became naturalized citizens. They did the whole process back in the day. Me and my siblings were born and raised here, and I grew up in Fifth Ward. So my neighborhood, we were the only non-black people in the neighborhood. So I grew up with, I guess, a reverse racism. I was born in '74, so by the time I'm going to school, the '80s. So I wasn't Mexican to them. I'm very light skinned, so I was a white boy. What I see now is that same elementary school, which my shop is the house I was born and raised in, 1 block behind the elementary school I went to. I drive by there every day, and where I used to see black moms pick up their kids is black, Hispanic, black, Hispanic, black. I mean, there's more, Latino people in this. Yeah, it's more diversity, and yeah, it's and I tell my kids, I'm like, speaking Spanish fluently has gotten me. It's opened more doors than it has for most people. I mean, again, I do ice sculptures for a living. I go to hotels, restaurants, country clubs. Who are the people behind the scenes?
Sure.
Yeah. So when you say, "Hey, man, I need a little extra hand picking this on the table," go fuck yourself. That's not my job. But if I go there and speak Spanish and say, "Hey, who's the strongest motherfucker here?" I guarantee.
Say that in Spanish right now.
Oh man.
Say that in Spanish.
Hey, ¿quién es el más fuerte chingón aquí? Hey, you get 4'10" Sergio is like, yo, Capitan. Boom. Go put that sculpture on the table, man. And man, hey, God bless you, man. Thank you for the help in the hernia. But
that's reality.
No, it is.
When you get older, man, helping a hernia.
No, it is. But I'm very blessed to what I do. I sold frozen water for a living. 10 plus years ago, I walked into Republic Boots when it was on I-10, Campbell Road. I met Bill, Fireball Bill. I went to buy my father-in-law a pair of boots. And the first place I've ever been to where they're like, "Hey, you want to sip our whiskey? You want to do..." Man, I was drinking, but yeah, two hours later, I bought myself some nice boots, and
he proposed to me that night.
Yeah. It was a great night. It was a great night.
I know.
Yeah, you never said I do. You never.
The good Reverend Butter singular.
No.
He found him a gringo.
Even though we consummated the relationship that night.
Whoa.
What?
With whiskey.
Do we need to step out of here?
No,
With
listen.
whiskey.
Give these-
We still keep in touch.
Yes,
He's
we
a great
do.
guy. One of the best fucking salesmen. I'm sorry for my language.
We
One
share
of the best
custody
salesmen I've
of
ever
our
met.
whiskey bottle.
Yeah. Great guy. Great person. All in general. And that was my relationship with Republic.
But here's the deal: like, you've always been a good guy, even to all of us. Anybody that you meet in here, you're respectful to him, and your work is impeccable. So the guys come in here again. If we have a Ferrari client, I mean, high end, or just a normal dude, I mean, you're putting all your effort into it. It's perfection.
Cool.
That's what I love. But again, you're a very humble dude. You like to hang out and just be one of us.
I love what I do. What I do.
We've had events here and other locations, and then we were in Austin. He did an Austin location.
Yeah.
And then we partnered with him at another location at a restaurant, and he came in.
There's some pictures on
He
there.
did
Get
the
some
World
pictures on
Series.
this
and
thing.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And what I enjoy is supporting like-minded people. That's it. If I don't like you, if I can't fuck with you, I won't fuck with you. If I can, then we're good, man.
I'm going to draw this back a little bit to the Texas Revolution, right? Because there was a number of Tejanos that were fighting against. So this was a civil war. This wasn't Anglo gringos against Mexicans or whatever. No. It wasn't a racial war or whatever. Not that it wasn't really a race.
It was
because
right.
I mean, it's Europeans, right? Fighting. You talking
back
about
in the day, nobody cared about it.
It was about the Centralists against the Federalists fighting each other against, because they had the United States of Mexico at that time, because they just seceded from Spain. They're fighting against each other. These guys, our first actual vice president was Lorenzo de la Valle, you know, the Tejano leader that was fighting all these guys. So it was not about race. That's where we are today. Like, I don't care what you look like. I don't care your last name. Whatever. I'm half Mexican as well. We're all in this thing together, right? So,
Well, I gotta say, you're more than half Mexican because everybody I've encountered that has met you, they're like, "Hey, man, I saw the guy from Republic." I'm like, "Bill, was he wearing a suit?" He goes, "No, man, that beautiful guy, that beautiful motherfucker." And,
Wait a minute.
And these are words that I've heard. I've heard these words. I've heard these words. No,
Coach,
Coach,
Get out of here.
Coach, I've heard these words like that beautiful motherfucker, and I'm like, or first of all, who are you to
It's
tell
this
me?
guy.
Yeah, I'm like, who are you talking about? And like, who are you describing some man who's beautiful? It's always you, bro.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. The eyes, the I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, right.
Hey,
crowd,
Back then,
going wild.
He is a sexy
you hear
bastard.
that? That's like fuck, man. It's
I
it's
used to
hypnotizing.
If you watched the previous episode, I'd take my shirt off. Basically.
Yeah. No. And when I say, what does a Mexican look like? Representation. Fucking, what does it look like to you? This is a bad motherfucker. I love what he does. And that's the thing. That's the thing is,
I was Italian.
you
Well,
got
let's talk about that. So you're
you gotta
Hispanic,
change people's
and
perspective.
The Hispanic world is you've got royalty in your blood, right? And so in your grandma or your
Did you
mom,
just assume that,
keep
or
going.
did you?
No, I know that. We've talked about this. She's like a princess or something in Mexico, whatever they called it. Back
I mean, they came from Spain, right? So they actually came from Spain, my family, my mother's family, around to pick pineapples from Spain in Hawaii, which is super weird. They went from Hawaii, and they realized they were agricultural folks, and they came over to make wine in California. They met my grandfather, which was, I mean, straight Mexican, I guess, Guatemalan, from Tabasco and all that area and stuff like that. Just fantastic, just cowboys. And so they all kind of mixed together. So they met the Germans that came the other
Right.
way. So we're
Equals a
So you and
beautiful.
Tito,
Tex-Mex.
you and Tito could be brothers, long lost brothers.
That's correct.
It equals what my story said. It equals to a beautiful motherfucker, from what I've been told.
Yeah. Me and Tito.
Hey, ain't no shame in that.
I
Ain't
love
no
you,
shame in that.
Tito. I hope you're still alive.
Tito Radical.
Tito, come back.
Tito, come back, Tito.
But
Sorry.
thank you, gentlemen, for having me here. This right here, 25 years I've been doing this. When COVID hit, March 13th, 2020, that was like the day. It was Friday the 13th, and I was carving something, a Jason mask for this party, and I started getting phone
Frozen
calls.
Jason mask?
No, I was like the actual, like the face of Jason, like a hockey mask,
gotcha.
Jason.
Wow.
Like
Gotcha.
I was carving that, and I got a call and said, "Hey, people can't. They're saying people can't congregate at this party, so I want to postpone it." I'm like, "Okay." And then I got another call. "Hey, we're going to reschedule St. Patty's Day, which was Monday." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." And then I started getting calls like, "Hey, I need my money back because we can't do this party because of COVID." And that's when I realized, like, oh shit, like, okay, this is serious.
Real, yeah.
That's how I make a living is your parties. I didn't realize it was 20 years exactly to the date that I started my business until I started going through paperwork.
It's awesome.
March 13th, 2000 is when I got my DBA started. So it was a sign of like, what the fuck are you going to do? Go to something else, give up, whatever. I didn't. I kept my freezer on. I sharpened my saw. I kept my skills going. And now a lot of companies went under, and we're one of the few that stayed.
Other companies that are trying to do ice sculpture stuff?
Companies. So Houston is a city that has had 5 to 6 ice sculpting companies.
Wow.
Most cities have one or none. When you're the one guy in the whole city that can do something,
That's it.
yeah, fuck you.
Kind of like
yeah.
the most badass bootmaker.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, exactly. Now imagine if you got 5 or 6 people almost on your level, almost.
Yeah.
Well, that lights a fire under your ass.
Yeah.
So I kept practicing, I kept my saw sharp, and I kept humble all these years. After the pandemic, they wanted to sell me their business. I said, no, thank you. 100% of their clients just called me anyway. And now we're busier than we could ever be.
Outstanding.
And we're
How
very
many-
blessed.
How many sculptures are we talking about a week that you can do? I mean,
I was telling our good friend Mark, off camera, Mark, I was telling him I was doing 1 a week, and that's when I was hustling. I was taking a page from Fireball Bill here. this suit. I was wearing suits like this, and where
Wearing
people.
this kind of suit, really?
Well,
It's
mine
weird.
was way better than this. Way cooler.
Yes.
I didn't have the apron thing. I didn't.
Yeah, it's weird.
I was wearing 70s polyester like rerun shit.
Weird.
But
Corduroy.
people would come.
I'm glad they love me.
Instead of walking around and saying, "This is what I do. Here's my card," people would come up to me and be like, "Well, what's going on here? Who are you? This is who I am. This is what I do." It went from doing one sculpture a week to where we're doing 2 or 3 a day.
Wow.
I mean,
So-
easy.
Reverend, it sounds like people need to see your work. When people see your work, they want to be a part of your work, and have it. So yeah. So
And
how
word
can
of
we? How can people see your work? How can people?
So how do we find
Contact
you?
you.
Yep.
So DLG, as in De La Garza,
Okay.
as in dedication, loyalty, greatness.
Yes.
Without dedication and loyalty, you will never ever achieve greatness. So I believe in that. I live that. DLGicefactory.com. From there, you could find us on social media, from Facebook, IG, Instagram, all that good stuff.
And if you're lazy, just call us and we can put you together.
That's true.
Yeah.
What is the coolest sculpture you've done? I mean, you've done so many interesting things. I'm watching you on Facebook, all that stuff.
Well, one real quick.
I saw the Porsche one, for
The
example.
fun things he does is these big old sculptures, and he turns them into shot blocks. So that's
Shot
kinda
block,
fun.
very cool.
Well, those
yeah,
are cool.
watch if you can go on our YouTube.
You do shot blocks.
Yes.
Yeah,
Done.
Oh.
Go on our YouTube.
Yes.
By the way, the Republic YouTube. You can see the guys drinking out the armadillo.
So-
the armadillo one.
Correct.
Fraternities and sororities, listen up.
We have
high profile guests
high-profile guys.
taking shot blocks out of the armadillo's ass.
So my
that was the greatest.
well, those are my favorite. Those sculptures right there, they're interactive. So one thing is to look at it. And you're like, that's a
Do you
beautiful.
do you also offer the pourers that stand on top and pour the shots down?
No. You got to get your own pour, right?
Okay.
No, I'm out. I'm out before they don't invite me to those parties. But if you can, you look at a sculpture, its display is beautiful. But when you can interact with it, touch it, put your mouth on it, you're like, oh, I'm taking a shot off of it. That's
what
a
she
whole
said.
nother. That's a whole nother thing. And you get to see how like it's real. People don't believe what we do is real until they touch it.
No, it's badass. It really is.
And one of the most, for me, the sculptures that mean the most are the ones that evoke emotion. Like any artist, you want someone to feel something. The armadillo, yeah, we did armadillo with shots coming down the tail, someone sucking the armadillo's ass. Whatever emotion you felt, that's all you. I did a 30-foot crucifix in Alaska,
Did he
Fairbanks,
just say
Alaska.
sucking the
Oh,
armadillo's
I did,
ass?
and then I went to a crucifix. I went to Jesus after that.
Don't stick your finger up there when you say
No,
that.
Coach.
After I see
Well,
that.
I'm pointing at, like I'm trying to lift you up, like
Ah!
no.
Crucifix.
Fairbanks,
Oh, that's
Alaska,
amazing.
30-foot crucifix, where as we were working on it, people would show up early before we would get there. And we would see handprints and people kneeling, praying to it. And we're like, man, it evokes something. We got third place in the world for this. And when we got third place, people got upset. They started yelling like, no one gives Jesus third.
Oh wow!
Hey, I'll fucking take it.
You got
You know,
first place. You
I
did.
took it. But it evoked something. It made people feel something. That's what I love.
It wasn't
any
a shot.
sculpture.
You couldn't take a shot off the crucifix.
No. Hey, but if you're good enough, Jesus will give you a shot, man. I mean, hey, he
wine.
hooked
It
it
was
up here.
wine.
Well, of course, he's gonna convert it to wine.
I'm sorry.
I think he's going to forgive all
But-
of us after this.
Bottom line,
Or fireball.
love what you do.
Yes.
Live what you do, and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
great-
I'm very blessed to be here, part of these like-minded crew, like-minded gentlemen, and thank you for letting me be part of this
Absolutely,
podcast.
thank you. And we've experienced that as well. We love what we do.
What is the future, of Reverend Butter? What are you going to do in the next 5 years? What do you think?
So, I have 3 boys. They're awesome. 17, soon to be 18, 15, and 7.
Got college in it.
They love no.
Or-
So my oldest, he's smart enough to get a scholarship,
Wow.
and he wants to do an apprenticeship carving ice. I said, you can't after college. He goes, well, this is what I want to do. If that's what you want to do, let's do it.
So how proud are you of that, to be able to pass down?
I've
your
been
craft?
pretty proud, but he did his first sculpture last week.
That's awesome.
I didn't teach him how to sculpt. I just taught him how to cut a silhouette and gave him a little free range and said, show me what you could do. It's a pig. It's a butcher's pig with all the lines cut out with
yeah.
the bacon,
Just like a
gel,
pig
all
or
that.
like a
yeah,
hippo.
yeah.
or something.
Oh man, his sculpture is better than what I did when I
real?
started. Yes,
So okay, so when you say a sculpture, is he using chainsaw or is he
chainsaw.
Using, okay.
And I gave him a chisel.
I'm not sure if we talked about that. Like, he's carving these things out of a
no,
chainsaw. With the chainsaw.
8% of us in the whole world do this by hand.
8%.
8%, because now it's a growing business, but a dying art. A lot of people do this with CNC machines. So a CNC machine will fabricate an outline,
Sure.
and you could just kind of put it out there.
You're going
What
with
we do is we use a chainsaw instead of that.
Just a pure block of ice with your mind. You're carving
Yeah,
it out.
it's skill.
Michelangelo.
You learn how to use your chainsaw like a pencil. Bottom line, and
Is
you
that,
can't.
so that's where butter comes from. Like you're
I slice, dice,
Smooth
and
as
sacrifice like butter.
slice.
Reverend came because I started preaching the word of, hey man, you could do this by hand. You don't need a fucking machine.
Yes.
And the guy selling the machine said, hey, Rev, quit preaching to the choir. I'm trying to sell these. I was like, Rev, okay, out of spite. When someone asks you if you do ice sculptures, they're going to ask you if you know Reverend Butter. This was 23 years ago. The power of spite is very strong, and Reverend Butter that name became out of spite, and now you know who the fuck I am.
So is it? So is it? He cuts through ice like butter.
Like butter, like butter, not butters. Unless you want to pay double for that.
Full circle.
We talk about us being center of the universe, and I've been in many circles all over Houston and actually Texas, and we talk about different things and some things that are unique. And I bring up ice sculptures and Reverend Butter. 100% of the time, I know that guy. Which is amazing.
Next
So
time
you
we
go
go
way
to a
back.
party here,
Yes.
let's do a cool party. We're on the stage here at the Republic Boot Company.
Yes.
You can have a band up here. You can.
You're
talk.
all invited.
Yes.
Come watch some live ice sculpting.
coming.
This boot is from Republic Boot Company. I want to say it's one of my favorite boots. It's such a beautiful boot that
You're welcome.
I didn't want to wear it for a while. The first time I wore it was the Houston Rodeo. And man, I walked around with my elbows out. Get the fuck back. Don't step on me, whatever. And I bought some badass chili cheese nachos.
Did they let you cut to the front
I'm
of the
watching.
line?
No, man. I'm watching. Fucking Chris Stapleton. I'm watching Chris Stapleton. And a big piece of chili just drops right on the tip of my boot.
Ooh. It had beans on
So
it.
fellas, it went in the scales, man. It went in the scales. So that
Suck it
was
off.
my okay. I broke this boot in. I dropped chili right on the tip of my boot during a concert, and that broke it in. It's one of my favorite boots.
So Reverend, we usually talk about the boot here, but why don't you let the public know what kind of boot this is?
Oh man, this is shit. Is it Luke Casey?
So
It's a Republic Boot Company boot.
What does that say back?
No, Republic Boot Company boot.
He's got jokes.
He left it wide open.
That's awesome.
It's a badass rattlesnake boot.
That's a rattlesnake
That's
boot.
it.
That's Python.
That's rattlesnake.
It is rattlesnake.
That's rattlesnake.
It's 100%.
Easter.
He's messing with us.
It's Eastern rattlesnake.
Yes.
One of my
Anyway.
favorite boots. We did a beautiful sculpture at the Austin store. This boot, it fit it like Cinderella story. It fit my.
Oh,
foot.
that came out of the Austin store.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna show some video of that sculpture.
Yeah.
down
It was
below.
amazing. But
We
I just
have
want to
it.
That was a
say,
good time. He's carving this, by the way, on South Congress with the chainsaw.
And it started raining.
you want a beautiful boot? Boom. You want a beautiful boot? Come to Republic Boot. You want a custom boot? One of a kind?
Real quick,
That
boot
is
of
an
the week.
investment.
So we always talk about the boot of the week. So this is a very cool boot. So it's a very unique boot. So we got hippo on the bottom. This is Oops Steam Cleaning. You heard of those guys? Sponsor of our friends at the Michael Berry Show. We have a shark top with a Callaway alleyway tooled top.
It's freaking amazing.
That's awesome.
It just looks cool. So when this boot's finished, it's going to be beautiful.
You can create whatever you want. This is his creation, which is freaking amazing.
See a brown hippo?
Yes,
That's
suede
a-
hippo.
That's a Mexican hippo, right?
Right? It is.
Colombian. It's Pablo Escobar's.
I mean, we're light skinned. We were hippos, we'd be light
It
skinned.
was in the zoo.
It was in Pablo Escobar's.
Pablo Escobar's compound.
Oh, man.
So, anyways.
So hey, that's a whole other story. You should have started off with this is
We could
Pablo Escobar's
5
hippos.
more hours with Reverend Butter because the guy is the most interesting guy.
This
You
is
can
part
find
one.
him in here.
Part one Stay tuned for part 2.
You can come inside here, find him, or where else can we find you? We can find you on the. We talk about that.
You can find me at your favorite dive bar. You can find me in Houston, Texas.
I love it.
Anywhere you hear a chainsaw or hear a Republic, come visit.
Where you hear chainsaw. Love you guys.
It's like the
coming
ice
back
cream
at you.
truck.
Yeah. Roar! Is that Rev Butter? No, it's the massacre.
Dilly dilly.
Good job, Reverend.
Fucking badass, dude.
Thank you guys.
Butter, not butters. Butter, not butter.
Unless you don't want to buy a sculpture, you can
Just
keep
say,
going butter.
hey, get paid.
There's that.
Well, I'll carry the sax on
Singular,
the
not plural.
I think he's going to come.
Cowboy, what are you doing?
That's a good one.